let's get into our next segment here. So last week, project popped on my radar. It was called Radfi.co. Started looking into it, realized it's a friend of the show. It's Scott, right? And Scott is actually building a stablecoin on Bound stablecoin. He's they're focused on Arch right now. Arch is potentially going to be dropping in June, July. So we're definitely looking forward to that. And potentially Bound might be there with them. We're going to learn all about what is happening with Bound. And we're going to learn all about this insane Radfi.co. So without further ado, let's bring up Scott. Scott, welcome to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Of course. Are you on the show with us from Dubai, or did you decide to hang back?
No, I decided to hang back. I sent another guy from my team there, TJ. He's over there. He's at the Arch House and checking out what the Bitcoin ecosystem has cooking over in Dubai.
Nice. Yeah, and today's theme is actually, this is perfect because we were talking about stable coins in the Bitcoin ecosystem and how it's a really good indicator that like infrastructure is actually being built here. We just went over one that was utilizing Lightning Network. You guys are kind of saying, hey, look, we love Bitcoin's native layer, but we also know that like scaling solutions are necessary as well. So you guys, I believe, are still building on Arch as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but how's everything going with Bound? Let's kick it off there. And the progress and how do you see the stablecoin ecosystem with Bitcoin starting to progress?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just to clarify, definitely still building on Arch. Really excited for their launch June, July, like you were saying. I think, having a vanilla kind of reliable stablecoin like BUSD for the Bitcoin ecosystem to help kickstart and bootstrap, DeFi on layer one is going to be extremely important. And I, still have that thesis, like the growth of Bitcoin DeFi is going to be tied, or the growth of stable coins issued on Bitcoin is going to be tied to the growth of Bitcoin DeFi, because one of the biggest use cases that we think is going to be, borrow lend against, using Bitcoin as collateral, being able to borrow dollars and get some leverage, and being able to do that all on L1, like from your wallet. That's, some of the stuff that Arch Network is going to enable. We're really excited about.
Love it. And I think that's the most underrated part of this infrastructure build out is utilizing your Bitcoin as leverage to borrow stable. That's like the fundamental, because when you have a really strong base foundational asset like Bitcoin. And that's why I think stable coin builders are attracted to, Bitcoin DeFi and stuff like that. And you guys already kind of starting to build the foundation on the DeFi side with Radfi.co.
Exactly. Yeah.
But going back to stable coins real quick, utilizing Lightning with the other, I forgot what they were called. And then you have Ducat, and then you have you guys Bound, and Hermetica is kind of more on stacks, but they all can kind of work within the same ecosystem. Do you feel like something like Lightning, because we haven't been diving deep in there, will kind of be like, hey, look, we can all work together? Or do you think they're going to be like, we're going to try to capture the market? Because it's competitive too.
It is, yeah. I think like on the Lightning side, what is it? I do think like that Lightning definitely makes sense for stablecoins in general. I imagine Tether is kind of going to dominate that market share. I mean, let's be honest, like they're kind of showing their support for Lightning as a scaling solution. And I think, from what I heard, I heard you guys talking like towards, wrapping up, at the end of the segment on Flashnet, one Satoshi, one stablecoin, and indexing it. They have these things called taproot assets. And I'm not like, in depth, like I'm not super familiar with how they work, if it works as you guys were describing. But I did hear kind of last year, at last token back in Singapore, that Tether was going to be issuing on Lightning. In terms of like flow back and forth, I could see Bound kind of helping be that wrapper that binds it all together to go through different ecosystems, right? Because we'll issue on Arch Network natively, we'll issue on Bitcoin Layer 1, we'll issue on Alkanes, we'll issue a Taproot asset, or we can just take in USDT from Lightning and issue BUSD, right? Because BUSD is just a basket of stablecoins, essentially. It's just backed by other stablecoins to make, kind of seamless liquidity between ecosystems. So I do see it as like, I'm excited for what is happening in Lightning. I saw the Flashnet, I think it was called.
Flashnet.
Okay, all right. Announcement, and also Spark to go along with it, and their angle seems very focused on stablecoins. I do think Lightning is probably going to try and tackle payments more, and I even think Tether adjacent project Plasma, just from their messaging, also seems to be more payments and like cross-border transactions oriented than degen DeFi Ponzi-nomics. Which I think there's a lot of interest in like the layer one, like Bitcoin community that's been growing. So I think there's kind of room for different, that's where Bound can kind of take more market share.
Yeah, and Bound has a really awesome opportunity with Arch, right? Like Arch is
Yeah.
going to be launching. It's looking like it's going to be, one of the 2 stable coins that are going to be there. You guys are mainly focused on Arch, while the other one is kind of on Stacks and other places as well. So you guys are going to be, being used to build things, right? And that's the biggest thing. The other projects are going to come in. They're going to want a stable coin on their project. Bound is going to be sitting there just waiting for them to kind of do their thing, right? So that's one thing that's awesome about Bound is you guys connected to Arch so well. And I'm curious, when we're probably going to see Bound launch. I mean, let's just say Arch is correct and they launched end of June, early July. Is Bound also going to launch around that time period?
We're actually pretty much ready to go. We've been doing the final stages of testing and, doing the secure signing on our cold storage and hot multi-sigs, testing the flow, going back and forth between Runes and Ethereum mainnet and Runes. We're pretty confident. I think I'm going to start doing internal testing today, actually, in production testing, making sure everything works properly, and we could have the product out for people to use as soon as next week. Use cases is kind of the main thing about that in terms of like why launch Bound right now. If you're going to be trading on Magic Eden, like blocks of 10,000 BUSD is not like the most user-friendly way to trade dollars against Bitcoin, and that is why we have Radfi right now, which we could talk more about, but I'll let you guys make the call on that.
Yeah. We're going to jump into that right here, but I just want to say, I think the aggregating stablecoin liquidity is brilliant because it puts you not only at like a safe way to back your stablecoins, but also as like a tool for something like USDT on Lightning and stuff like that, to where it's easy, trustable, stuff like that to wrap and all that stuff. So really awesome. And you kind of, made a great point there about Radfi, because when I think stablecoin, I think eventually you got to be able to have a platform, or at least partner with a lot of platforms that can let you do things with it. And you guys decided to whip up Radfi, which looks awesome, by the way. Not shocked that you guys started with the pups liquidity pool there, considering that you guys are all crazy puppets on the team there. But could you kind of go into
what were you saying?
Oh, there you go. There you go. You're waiting for that line. We have a full script of the show. Scott had the script. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So, could you talk about Radfi? Obviously, you said, you guys kind of whipped it up because of being able to buy the stablecoin, all that stuff. But like, what other features, benefits, maybe just go into like how it all started?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of how it started, right? We had first line of thinking was, let's build a stablecoin for this new growing DeFi ecosystem. We have a thesis that Bitcoin DeFi is going to boom in 2025. Let's get prepared for that. What's like the most agnostic kind of just like broad way to capture that growth? That's a stablecoin. So we built Bound first, and then we finished that, and things were a little behind schedule from what we had anticipated. So we started to say like, okay, we built a stablecoin. Let's build another DeFi product around it that can kind of focus on bringing liquidity and more use case for it. So that's when we started thinking about Radfi. And from, the way I think about Radfi is really just like a DeFi product suite for the Bitcoin ecosystem. We have our own AMM that'll, of course, have like a Bitcoin against BUSD pool. We started with Pups Bitcoin because, as you said, we got to create a team of crazy Bitcoin puppets, and, we love pups and want it to go ups. But yeah, so, we have a lot more in the hopper that I'm pretty excited about. Certain things I can talk about, certain things I can't. But we got a lot of attention the other day for like how we built Radfi, which was, pretty kind of exciting, random. I was like looking through Twitter, and this guy's like pointing out who's doing this weird shit in the mempool, and like, why are they structuring transactions this way? So I'm like, Runes adjacent protocol. I'm like, Runes adjacent, huh? He's like, only, and then I see another weird thing is it's only focused on pups, and it seems to have like, you know, decent adoption on pups. And I'm like, okay, all right, this has to be us. And I like dive a little deeper. I'm like, yep, that's us. And what he noticed was that with Radfi, we want full Bitcoin data availability. Okay, so what he saw was us packing data of what is supposed to happen, like the instructions for Radfi. We pack all of that into
Opportune.
Yeah, into it, not Opportune, because we couldn't see. The issue is we couldn't do that because Opportune is used for the runes data.
Oh, okay.
So you can't mix runes data with other arbitrary data, which I don't know is maybe something that we could be extended on the runes protocol, perhaps. But what we did was we put it into OP12, which is just kind of like you know, reserved for like future Bitcoin you know, upgrades. And we found we could use it for data, and we jammed some data in there, and it definitely you know, and now anybody could say with full certainty, like you could rebuild the entire state of Radfi based on that data. Like every trade that's ever happened, every liquidity that's ever been put in or put out, you could figure out exactly what the quote that we should offer is and whether or not we're being honest about that and things to that effect. So we wanted as much reliance on Bitcoin layer 1 and as much like, you know, information on Radfi available on Bitcoin layer 1 as possible. That was
my God.
How I was thinking about Radfi.
Whoever's going to develop your Explorer eventually is going to love you for that, probably, because they can just reference all that data, which to me I think is genius, because I don't think people think about that when they're building a swap or anything right now. They just want to be able to get it done because it's Bitcoin. They're like, oh my God, like the limitations and all that stuff. Another thing, I bet you Maxis love that you did that, right?
I saw like one of the comments under the post was like, can somebody build me a script so I can censor or, you know, block this from my node?
That's so funny.
So you might be the reason why Todd came out. That might be the reason, because the guy HBO called Satoshi. What's his first name? Something
Todd Peters.
Todd
Peters?
I don't know his name.
Right,
Yes,
right.
I thought it was something Todd. But anyway, he came
Peters
out and he
Todd.
said he wants to change things in the Opportune and stuff like that. So
saw
he might have saw your thing there.
That would be very
like,
helpful.
what
for
the
us,
hell?
you know? Like, I would love there to be less restrictions on what can be put into Opportune. That would definitely be helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Love it.
All right, so I'm gonna show the decks here because you guys are very colorful, and I guess that comes from your pups background here.
Yeah.
The UI is nice. I do enjoy it. Me and Yagabi were talking. At first, we were both just like, "What the hell are they doing? It's not even square." Like so we were kind of like messing around, but then we saw the puppets, and we saw what was running behind it, and it was like, okay, they're going this route. They're going the fun, exciting route.
Yeah.
The abstract.
We're memorable. You know, we want to be memorable. We're not your average
100%.
decks.
So walk me through this. Walk me through what do I do when I first come to your site here?
Sure, yeah. Let's click that get started button. Let's do it. Launch the app.
All right. So I hit the get started or I hit launch app?
Either one works.
Okay.
Same.
Cool. And it'll pop me over to here.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
So like very similar. Oh, here we go. This is where I saw it. Okay, I was wondering where I saw this craziness happen. That wizard just hit the puppet and turned into rats.
Where are the rats? What are the rats referencing to?
That's just like something that our like the lead designer on our team, like that built all the stuff, just loves like Radfi rats, just like came to her and she just
gotcha.
I like the rats too. They're cute, they're funny, they're mischievous. You know, they
everybody's chasing them. Everybody's chasing them.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's trying to catch them. You know, little Tom and Jerry kind of vibes there. But all right, so you would connect wallet here would be the next step. If you have Xverse, or interesting, like that.
I don't see anything to pop up.
Do you have Begin?
Yeah, I have a Begin wallet. Do you guys have Begin? That's weird. Begin's a Cardano Bitcoin wallet.
We only support Xverse. I feel like Begin probably has some plugin that allows you to connect. Like has the same APIs as Xverse, perhaps.
Live update.
Yeah, I'm honestly not even familiar.
Well, do you have expert? You don't have X. Oh, you do have X.
No, I have everything here. I got every wallet imaginable. I mean, I don't know why my Xverse.
Maybe that's throwing our front end off. I mean, I'm curious what happens if you click Begin. If it'll
let me I'll just I'll close my Begin. I'll delete it real quick, and I'll just download it later. I don't want to use it too often.
Damn, dude, we're so close to having a
mine's showing Xverse.
Okay.
All right, I'll do it now. I got the begin going. The begin's still there. So you want to show yours, Jacoby?
Yeah, I'll show mine. I guess. Oh, sorry. I don't even know what I'm doing. Give me a second. Okay, let me share my screen here. Let me get logged in first. But that is, I didn't know that. That's cool though, because Begin is a UTXO wallet. I know that they are initially started, I believe, on Cardano. And so maybe this is we just gave you guys some alpha, possibly. Maybe they're coming over to Bitcoin. I don't know.
No, they are. They have a Bitcoin wallet. I'm guessing they just use Xverse. Okay, I'm good now. I deleted my my Begin wallet. So now I'm seeing Xverse. So I'll click Xverse here. My Xverse will pop up. I'll put my password in here, and I'll log in. Unlock.
Come on, work. This is a beta.
Yeah, I don't got much in this one, so I'm good. All right. So what next?
This is the first. I just want to jump in here. So this is the first step is going to be creating a trading wallet, and I think we need to do a lot better in terms of like feedback we've gotten on education on what a trading wallet is, because people are hesitant to deposit into it. You could click it. It's not going to take a transaction or anything. Just agree to our terms. All right. I got you got to sign a message, but it won't send a transaction.
Okay.
That's just to agree to the terms there. Okay, so now click Fund Your Trading Wallet. It'll take you back to the Portfolio tab. Now, a trading wallet, okay, and this is, got to do better on the education side. This is a 2 of 2 multi-signature wallet between yourself and Radfi. You are not giving us custody. Okay, we cannot take your Bitcoins. We cannot take your runes. I couldn't be more clear about that. I really want to hammer that home. You do not give up custody when depositing into the 2 of 2 multi-sig. And our signature also expires after 3 months. So you'll be required to refresh it. But your absolute worst case scenario of depositing into a Radfi trading wallet, let's say for some reason we refuse to sign your transactions, you would have to wait 3 months, and then you'd be able to just withdraw your money without our permission. Okay, so we cannot take money, but it does require our signature to execute any transaction. And the reason we do that is because we're creating this architecture that prevents double spend. Okay, so you'll see once you get started here, you still have to wait 1 full Bitcoin block to fund your wallet here. But once you have money in a Radfi trading wallet, you have the trading experience of any other chain. As soon as you sign a transaction, we credit your balance. Like if you buy 1 Bitcoin worth of pups, you could take that pups and you could immediately withdraw it back to your wallet. You could take that pups, you could trade it for something else on Radfi. You could trade it back into Bitcoin. Like you can use it to supply liquidity. You can do all of these things with an instant user experience because we know you can't cancel that transaction. If you tried to double spend, if you tried to replace it with a higher fee to send the Bitcoin to yourself instead of trading for pups, we would not sign that. So we know that you can't double spend and that you're committed to this transaction and that for all intents and purposes, the transaction is finalized. We're just waiting for it to be confirmed in a Bitcoin block. So we let you spend all of these child parent UTXOs. You can do it up to 25 times per UTXO. I think we have 10 UTXOs per pool. It enables 250 trades per block.
So let me ask you this. So, you did emphasize that this is not custodial, right? So another example that everybody feels like is custodial is, let's say something like Odin.fun. The difference, what I'm understanding is here, I'm one of the multi-sig signers. Without me, that wallet that's in between us cannot make a transaction. But on Odin, I'm kind of doing more of a deposit. Then that goes into a multi-sig with only their team. Is that the difference?
That's my understanding. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how Odin Fund works, but yeah, I would assume.
And maybe Odin Fund works this way too. I'm just using.
I don't think they use a trading wallet. I'm just not exactly sure where the funds go when you deposit it. I think there's something to do with ICP mixed in there. Is the only thing I would add.
Yeah, and for the audience, I'm not saying that Odin Fund's completely custodial. I'm just trying to use an example of what I perceived it as. So, all right, we can move on now.
All right, so I have my 0.002 about 18 bucks I deposited in here. When that hits, I'll go to swap, right? And then I'm able to swap for, let's check your pools out first, because obviously I want to swap for the highest liquidity. That's my liquidity. I can go to pools. All right, so it looks. Holy crap! You guys have a ton of
pups.
Bitcoin and pups there.
We got pups covered. For sure. And then some people testing on our beta added these other pools. We got some based Internet Panda yesterday. Wanko Manko also yesterday. These are people that kind of saw, that thread I was talking about that pointed out our unique data structure. What is it? And those guys saw that and came in and supplied some liquidity. Looks like we have some work to do on the keeping the column straight there. So I'll definitely be raising that issue later today. And also looks like the Pups APY is up with people trading and testing out the app. So, if you want to LP there, give it a try. You'll earn fees on that APY is just purely from fees, just based on like the amount
paid in Bitcoin.
Paid in Bitcoin and Pups.
Wow. Okay, so you're getting a mixture. So your LP would just get bigger.
It depends on what the person was trading. So if they trade Pups, the fee I think comes out in Pups. If they trade Bitcoin, it comes out in Bitcoin.
And then do I have to claim that, or will my LP just get?
Yeah, you'll claim.
I have to claim that. Okay.
Yeah, you'll have to claim it. Whenever you feel like it.
Wow, incredible. And when I do make the swap, I still gotta wait the Bitcoin block, correct or no?
No. Once it's deposited, you don't have to wait a Bitcoin block.
So I can go to Pups, back to Bitcoin, back to Pups, back to Bitcoin, back to Pups, and all in one Bitcoin block.
Yeah, like 10, 15, 25 times.
So you're basically doing very similar to what Arch is doing, just in a different way.
I would say that, I guess with Arch's infrastructure, we could definitely do a lot more. We can, something I'm excited about is like potential, like really in-depth, like token economics and incentives and, building out, more unique, gamification of our platform. And also like more decentralized signing of, the liquidity pools themselves.
Wow.
So
really
Arch
awesome,
infrastructure can definitely help us kind of bring this to the next level.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. And, this is probably part of the thing that you said you can't talk too much about, but I imagine I'm going to bring it up anyways because I'm a jerk. Well, no, I'm not saying what you think I'm going to say, but I imagine that like there will be a lending component within this, or.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can't talk about that.
Okay.
We will definitely this is the proof of concept, right? Like this is definitely just stage one. I wanted to see if this like instant swaps and like great user experience was possible on Bitcoin. I now see it is. Other people are now seeing that it is. And we really want to layer in additional DeFi primitives through partners and potentially through building some of them ourselves, the way we've done with the AMM. One that I'm really excited about, I actually just got off a call with them before this call, is this cross-chain DeFi partner that we're talking to. Not going to mention the name just yet, but with them, we'll be able to enable pure, like 100% instant swaps between Bitcoin and Solana. Like, let's say you want to sell some of your Solana for Bitcoin. Okay, you'll be able to sell it to them. They'll have some Bitcoin in a Radfi trading wallet. And then as soon as they receive the Solana, they'll send their Bitcoin in their trading wallet to your trading wallet. So it'll settle instantly because we have the same assurances of no double spending using the 2 of 2 multisig. So going between Bitcoin and other ecosystems and Bitcoin, usually you have to wait at least one Bitcoin block for that to happen. If you're depositing into an exchange even, you have to wait one Bitcoin block, then they'll credit your account, allow you to trade. But with us, purely wallet to wallet, because of this trading wallet architecture, we'll be able to do instant between other ecosystems. And that also applies to borrowing and lending, right? Depositing Bitcoin as collateral, borrowing dollars, all of that can happen within one Bitcoin block.
That's incredible.
So like longer term, this is the proof of concept. Longer term, we're definitely going to be layering in other primitives. Primitives on Arch Network as well, and primitives, outside of the Bitcoin ecosystem entirely.
Wow. And I can deposit anything in my wallet right now.
You could, if you wanted to like create a liquidity pool for, Runes X Bitcoin or NFL Week 2.
I have a bunch of Fluid in here, Fluid FLDT. They bridged in from Cardano. If I wanted to get some more Bitcoin in here and deposit both, then I can create a an LP for Fluid and BTC.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that. Totally permissionless on the creation. And the LP side, right? Like you have to give your funds to us. And we're pretty much the way I think about like the LP is like we're willing to be online 24/7 to make markets however you tell us you want us to make them, right? You set a custom range. You're like, I want us to trade fluid between 5 sats and 100 sats at an even curve. Do that for me. And we'll be like, okay, sounds good. That's like the user agreement that you signed in the beginning. And we are thinking about, other ways to maybe decentralize that that experience for larger LPs. But, for now, that's kind of the best way to get things. If people want to leverage the AMM for themselves and earn fees, that's where we're happy to do that.
Yeah. So, and this is also perfect for your other project, Bound, because now you can come over here and put Bound in here, wrap it with some Bitcoin, have a Bitcoin Bound LP, and that could be awesome because someone like, potentially who doesn't want, they just want to go from Bitcoin to USDC back to Bitcoin. They're traders, right? This is actually a good opportunity for traders to take advantage of, a stable coin that you're not seeing anywhere else.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're definitely going to have, that's probably the next pool that we're targeting to have meaningful liquidity is going to be Bitcoin against BUSD. Getting some concentrated liquidity there so you can actually get some good trade execution and take advantage of some arbitrage. So that's definitely in the hopper for us coming up next.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, because you guys are from the entity perspective, you're backing everything by mostly stable coins, but if someone wants to create and earn because people want to come in and out with their Bitcoin with stable and stuff, you're gonna have that option here as well. So that's awesome. I love it. What's the next thing that you guys are excited about, Bound or Radfi? Maybe you can talk a little bit about.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, pay attention for that Bitcoin against BUSD pool. That's, gonna be the next step in our proof of concept. Definitely follow us. There are things that I didn't talk about here that I am really excited about, even more so than that instant cross-chain swap, something very specific for the Bitcoin ecosystem. So, I'm really excited about what we have in the hopper. Give us a follow, Radfi_BTC on Twitter. Follow me, Benny_options. You'll recognize my background here, Bitcoin Puppet as the PFP. And that's going to be the best way to stay up to date with us.
Love it, man. Absolutely awesome, dude. I really appreciate you giving us your time and our viewers the time. I really hope let you guys take advantage of this. Really appreciate you building on Bitcoin, bro. I love saying that to people because like a lot of these builders, man, you can build anywhere. But you guys choose to build on Bitcoin. But I'd love to give you the stage one last time to talk to our audience. Any last words from you, Scott?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I gave it just before. I'll say Bitcoin is forever, man. That's why we're here. That's why we're building here. Happy to be building on Bitcoin. It's not going anywhere. Neither way.
Awesome. Great way to sign off for sure. And we'll talk to you soon, sir.
All right. Take it easy, guys. Thanks again.
All right.
See you, bud.
Bye.